Good morning, class 9th. In today's lecture, we are going to study about another type of animal tissues. In last lecture, we have studied about epithelial tissue, which is very first type of animal tissue. Today, we are going to continue with the connective tissues. Connective tissue is another type of animal tissue. As the word connective is here, that means it connects various organs in any form. It may be with the help of bone or muscle, or it may be in the form of blood, but it connects various organs, okay, and their functions as well. Yes, three components which are present in a connective tissue is its matrix, on which medium it is formed, its cell, which kind of cells are present, and which kind of fibers are present. Actually, there are two kind of fibers. One is giving flexibility or elasticity, one is giving the flexibility and elasticity to some strength, but the strength is more important. Okay. Yes, the cells of connective tissues are loosely pegged, embedded in an intercellular matrix, or they may be hard, rigid, dense. So it depends on the function. Okay, or you can say matrix decide the function of the connective tissue. Here we are going to study about these connective tissues, like areolar tissue, adipose tissue, bone, hyaline cartilage, blood cells. These are some of the types. Functions of connective tissue. Connection, that means to bind the organs or tissues together. If they are present in any of the organ, they bind the other tissues together. And if they are present all over the body, that means they connect all the body functions and organs to each other, right? So they are concerned with defense, fat storage, repair, support, etc. The main function is binding, supporting, and packaging of the different organs of the body. Yes, types of tissue. We are going to study 5 types of connective tissue. One is areolar connective tissue, which is loosely bind, or dense connective tissue, hard. Adipose tissue having lots of fat in it. Skeletal tissue supports the skeletal structure. Then fluid connective tissue, that is blood and lymph. Areolar connective tissue, it is loose and cellular connective tissue. Its matrix have two kind of fiber: white collagen fiber, yellow elastic fiber. Yellow fiber gives elasticity. Remember, yellow fiber is for elasticity, means they are very elastic or flexible. On the other hand, white collagen fibers are limitedly flexible. Okay, areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and muscles and around the blood vessels and nerve cells. So we can say they are a kind of packaging tissue, because they are filling these spaces. They are just trying to pack the organ nicely. So it supports internal organ and helps in repair of the tissues as well. Its main function, as we have started, is supporting, packaging, as it lies between the cavities of body organs. It also provides the rapid diffusion, or you can say exchange of gases and nutrients between the blood vessels, as it is present around the blood vessels. It also helps in repair. If we get any injury or damage to our muscles or other organs or tissues, so it tries to repair them, as it is the packaging one. It have some of the defense mechanism in the form of macrophages and other WBC type of WBCs are present here. They try to attack on the antigen, foreign antigens, and toxic materials, that is poisonous materials. So toxins enter in our body. Okay, so here is the diagram. Here macrophage, defense mechanism. Lymphocyte is also meant for defense mechanism against the antigens. Fibroblasts, collagen fibers. This is the diagram of your areolar connective tissue. Yes, dense connective tissue. Dense means it is having quite dense matrix. So it is fibrous connective tissue, nicely packed. It is quite dense in the packaging collection of fibers and cells, and its main type, you can say, is ligament and tendon. Ligament and tendons are almost present between the bones and muscles. How? Ligaments are elastic structures which connect two bones together. Means one bone is connected to the other with the help of ligaments only. As I told you, elastic fibrous tissue is your yellow fibers, okay? And your ligaments have very little matrix. It strengthens the joint and it only permit a limited movement. It depends on the type of joint. If we have our ball and socket joint, it allows a nicely rotating movement, you can say. And if it is elbow joint, you can move your elbow up to 180-degree only. You cannot move in reverse direction or more than that. So the movement is limited. Normal movement, you can say, it allow, but it do not allow overextension of the muscles or bones, okay? Yes, if it is overpulled, that condition is called sprain. On the other hand, tendons are cord-like. Cord means a wire-like structure. They are inelastic, or you can say they have very limited flexibility. As I told you, the limited flexibility is provided by white fibrous tissue. So white collagen fibrous tissue are present in tendons. Okay, it has great strength, but again flexibility is limited. There are three type of connective tissues taken from different or parts of your body. Like your muscles have very dense connective tissue. They are regularly present, means there is no gap. They are continuously present, you can say. Another is in skin. Skin have some spaces between them, so you can say they are irregular. Irregular means they have gaps between them, but they are another dense connective tissue. Okay, elastic means where the yellow fiber is present in more quantity, you can say. Okay, so here elasticity is provided, and where we get it, where we want the elasticity at joints, because that elasticity help us to move our joints smoothly. Okay, so in first two conditions collagen fibers were present, but in the last condition elastic fiber or yellow elastic fiber, you can say, is present. Adipose tissue. Adipose word means fat. So these tissue having fat globules means a packet filled with fat is present in these tissue. The adipose tissue is abundant below the skin as it gives insulation to the skin, and it also provide a kind of protection from the jerk, from the injuries. Okay, so function is fat reservoir. Fat is present, we can use that fat at the time when it is required by the body to give energy. And adipose tissue act as food reservoir, and it act as an insulator. It regulates the temperature of the body. Okay, yes, here it is. These yellow color globules are fat filled globules, or you can say this is the structure of your adipose tissue. Yes, skeletal tissue, it is strong and non-flexible, because skeletal tissue means the skeleton of the body, and if the skeleton is very flexible, you will not have a proper body shape. Okay, as it may bend from anywhere. So bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms framework that supports the body. It also anchor the muscles, means it also embedded in the muscles to make them move, right? And it supports main organ of the body. It also protect delicate organ of the body, as we have rib cage, your cranium. Cranium provides protection to the brain, and rib cage provide protection to delicate organs like heart, lungs, right? So it is very important tissue, you can say. It is strong, non-flexible. Bone cells are embedded in hard matrix, and that matrix is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. That is why it's quite hard. Two bones can be connected to each other by connective tissue called ligaments. This tissue is very elastic and it have considerable strength, as told earlier. Okay, so here tendons connect bone to muscle, and ligament means which connect bone to another bone. Yes, it's a skeletal muscle, you can see here. We are going to study about it in next topic. Yes, this is the structure of bone. It have Harvestian canals in it for the exchange of materials, and it is a compact bone structure. Yes, fluid connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue links the different parts of the body and maintains a continuity in the body. It have two components. One is blood, one is lymph. Blood is fluid connective tissue. In this, we have liquid matrix as a base that is called blood plasma. That blood plasma do not contain protein fibers, but it contains cells, or you can say blood corpuscles. Okay, we also call them blood cells. So the types of blood cells and corpuscles are red blood cells or corpuscles, which are also called erythrocytes, white blood corpuscles, that is leukocytes, and platelets. These are the three types of cells. RBCs and WBCs are living one, but if we talk about plasma and platelets, they are non-living. Platelets is fibrous. Okay, so it is only a dead fiber. The plasma contain proteins, salts, and hormones, and other inorganic and organic compounds. Blood flows and transport gases, digested food, hormones, waste material to different parts of the body, thus connect each and every body part with each and every organ present in them. The reason is one organ is responsible for performing a particular function, and if we want to connect each and every body part, we need some kind of carrier that carries the production or the function performed by a tissue or a organ. So it is in the form of some kind of production. That production is carried by the blood or lymph. Okay, like if I'll talk about gases, so it is carried by the blood. Heart pumps the blood in various directions. Okay, but from where that pure gas come? So it's from the lung. Then digested food comes from the digestive system, or you can say intestine. Hormones from different endocrine glands. Then waste material from your body, different cells. Then from it is taken to the kidney, it removes it. So a kind of connection is present in each and every organ, which connect them together, right? So blood plays a very important role to connect each and every organ to each other. Yes, here we have a structure, or you can say diagram of blood, in which we can say see different kind of cells. Macrophages, they are meant for the defense mechanism. Neutrophils are another type of WBC. Eosinophils is also another type of WBC. Platelets are fibrous material which is present in third type of blood cell, you can say. And then erythrocyted RBCs, which carry the food, hormone, they are kind of carrier. So it carries food, oxygen, right? These are the components of blood. Muscular tissue, as the name muscles is present, means these are our muscular tissue present in muscles. So in an animal body, a smallest muscle to the largest one consists of muscular tissue. Muscle cells are elongated, they are quite long, and they are large size, so they are called muscle fibers. Muscle cells are typically arranged in a parallel arrangement, which help them to work very efficiently. This tissue is responsible for the movement in our body, and muscle contain a special kind of protein called contractile proteins, which helps them to contract and relax. That movement is in the form of contraction and relaxation. In contraction, your muscles become quite, you can say, they are contracted, they become small in size or area, and when they relax, they come to their normal size. We can move some muscles by conscious will, means with our will we can move some of the muscles. On the other hand, we cannot move. If we try, then also we are not able to move those muscles. So on the basis of this, we have muscles in three categories. One is striated or non-striated muscles, you can say. These are named differently according to the function or their capabilities, you can say. Striated muscles means they are stripped when they appear. they appear like dark and light bands, so we can say they are stripped one. That is why named striated muscles. They are present on a skeleton, like we have we can move our hands, we can move our legs. So this is because of this muscle. Thus they are called skeletal muscles. Okay, then we can move them with our will. If I want to pick anything, I can pick. If I want to move my cursor, I can move. So this is voluntary muscles. That is why they are known by different names: striated muscles, striated muscles, skeletal muscles, or voluntary muscles. On the other hand, there are muscles which are present on our delicate organs, and we cannot move them with our will. They are working on their own, they are moving on their own. So thus they are called unstriated muscles or non-striated muscles. They are visceral muscles, you can say, because they are present on our visceral organ like liver, stomach, intestine, right? And involuntary muscle because they are not working with our will, they are working on their own, right? They are smooth because there is no appearance of dark and light band in them. They are similar at all the places. Okay, so they are smooth muscles. And the third type is cardiac muscle. The word cardiac is related to the heart only, means only location of this muscle is heart, or we can simply call them heart muscles. Cardiac muscles are somewhat intermediate between the striated and smooth muscle. It have qualities of both. Okay, but they are involuntary. We cannot move them according to our will. Yes, striated muscles, we can move some muscles by conscious will. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to and stop when we decide so, right? So muscles that are voluntary, that are movable with our will, so they are called voluntary muscles. These muscles are also called skeletal muscles as they are mostly attached to bones and help in body movement. If we observe them under the microscope, we can see alternate light and dark bands as told earlier. So these are termed as striations, and thus they are called striated muscles. The cells of these tissue are long, cylindrical. They do not have branches but have many nucleuses. Okay, so here you can see the diagram. You can see this maroon color dark band and this white or light color bands. Okay, that is why dark and light in color, called striated muscles or striated muscles. Sarcolemma, you have no you are familiar with the term plasmolemma, that is plasma membrane. For muscle we use term sarco. Lemma means muscle membrane. Okay, so myofibrils are the fibers or muscle fibers, you can say. We have nucleus. That one muscle have number of nucleus in it, that is why it is called multinucleated. Yes, unstriated muscles, the movement of food in the alimentary canal or the contraction, relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary muscle. Means we are not able to control the movement of blood in the vessels or the food in the intestine, right? So these are a kind of involuntary movements and they are somewhat controlled by their muscles. Those are present on a particular organ. So we cannot really start them or we cannot stop them, right? So smooth muscles or involuntary muscles control such kind of movements. They are also found in the iris of eye, in ureters, and in the bronchi of lungs. We take or inhale the gas, right? After this, how it is going to the bronchiole, bronchi, alveolar sac, how it is exchanged, we do not have any knowledge about it. We cannot control that condition, right? So we can say this is involuntary action and it is controlled by unstriated, unstriated or smooth muscles, right? Or non-striated muscles, we can say involuntary muscles they are. The cells are long, they are pointed, means they are spindle shaped in structure. Only one nucleus is present per cell, so they are uninucleated and the name is unstriated muscles. Here we have cardiac muscles. The muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction. Rhythmic means they are somewhat the muscles are moving in a rhythm. They are relaxed, contract, relaxed, contract. So it's a rhythmic movement. in the form of heartbeat. Okay, what we feel. So these involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles, right? And heart muscles are cylindrical, branched, and uninucleate. Branching and uninucleate, they are different things, right? Uninucleate means single nucleus is present, which is the category, or you can say which is the characteristic of the unstriated muscles, right? But they are cylindrical. This is the characteristic of your striated muscles. So I was telling you cardiac muscles are intermediate between these. Here is the difference. Striated muscles are present in limbs, tongue, we can move, we can speak with our own words, body wall, pharynx, etc. Fibers are unbranched, right? Muscle cells are uninucleated and their muscle fibers are cylindrical. Nerve supply is from central nervous system. They have two type of bend, dark and light bends. Then rapid contraction, we can move our hand, legs at you can say at the speed we want. We can run, we can walk, right? But they are voluntary muscles. We become tired after lots and lots of contraction and relaxation, or a movement, you can say. So these muscles get fatigued, right? If I'll punish you, that raise your hand after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it depends on the capability of the person, you will feel tired because your muscles become fatigued. This is the reason. So the function of striated muscle is to cause the movement of limbs and locomotion. Unstriated muscles are present in the wall of alimentary canal, blood vessel, respiratory tract, means those organs whose movement are not controlled by us. Okay. Muscle fibers are spindle shaped. They are unbranched. Muscle fibers or cells are multinucleate, means they have many nucleus in one cell. Nerve supply is from autonomous nervous system, as they are autonomous. Auto means self controlled. We are not able to control them by our will. So auto nervous system control them. Okay. They do not have dark and light bands, so no cross striations are present, no strips are present. They exhibit slow contraction. They move slowly. Involuntary, as let me give you one example of slow contraction. We have our digestive system. Suppose at 2 p.m. I'm going to have my lunch. So it will be digested and thrown out of the body within 48 hours. Means it takes 48 hours to digest one time meal. You can now judge the movement, slow movement of it, right? And the speed may be according to the organ required, or you can say the speed required by the organ. They are involuntary, they do not get fatigued. And the function, it causes contraction and mobility in visceral organs. Okay. And they are involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscles, they are present in the wall of heart. Muscle fibers are cylindrical. Fibers are branched. Other two, striated and unstriated, are unbranched, but cardiac muscles are branched one. They are uninucleated. The nerve supply is from both the nervous system, whether it is central nervous system or autonomous nervous system. Light and dark bands can be seen, plus intercalated disc, means a connecting disc, you can say, is present. They exhibit rapid contraction. Involuntary, though they are rapidly contracting or relaxing, they are not getting fatigued, because once our heart gets fatigued, we will die. So it is responsible for your heartbeat only. These are the comparative diagram of all the three muscles. Here you can see there is no striations. They are tapering and right. So they are spindle shaped. Which kind of muscles they are? They are involuntary. They have dark and light color bands. So they are your voluntary muscles or stripped or striated muscles. They are cardiac muscles. There is no branching, no branching. Branching is present in them. Okay, this is the intercalated disc, a kind of connecting disc. They are cylindrical, or you can say tape in structure. They have strips. So it is a kind of mixture between both the muscles. Okay. Yes, nervous tissue, very last type of tissue of animal body, but very important. If I'm able to speak, if I'm able to see that heading and able to explain you, it is just because of the control and coordination going on in my body. So this is nervous tissue, controlled by nervous tissue. All cells possess the ability to respond to stimuli. Suppose if you touch some hot surface, immediately you withdraw your hand. This is just because of the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue sense it that it's very hot. It sends message to your nervous system, and immediately your hand is withdrawn before you know, right? So this is your nervous tissue which control and coordinate different organs and their functions. Okay. However, it connects it to the brain, so that brain process the whole scenario, and according to that it responds. Yes, cells of nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated. Stimulated means affected by external activity. Means if I'll stand in the front of a car with very bright headlight, I close my eyes. This is a kind of stimulation. My eyes muscles, so if you can say, my eyes cells are stimulated by that light and they close, right? So this is the stimulus, and that closing of eyes is a response. So your nervous tissue is all about stimulus and response. Here it helps in transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another. Here I think that I want to pick my mouse, I'm just touching it, I'm picking it, right? So here it is very rapid movement of a message in the form of stimulus, or chemical transmitters are present, means chemically that message is transmitted from one nerve cell to the another, and finally to the brain or spinal cord, from where we want to process our information. In turn, the messages come back in the form of response, right? So brain, spinal cord, and nerves or nerve cells, you can say, are all present in the nervous tissue. As brain and spinal cord are present centrally, they are called central nervous system. Okay, and when the branches of these nerve cells or tissues comes out and spread throughout the periphery, or you can say at the sides, then they are called peripheral nervous system. So nervous system are somewhat classified on the basis of their locations, and their work also differ. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neuron. We are going to study about the nervous tissue, a small introduction of nervous tissue and the type of cell or structure of that neuron in this class, you can say. So here it is. Structure of neuron. A neuron consists of a cell body with a nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, and it have some long hair-like a part that arises from it. It's a kind of branching which helps in the connection. Let me show you the diagram. Here it is. It is one of the neuron. It's a single one. Okay, so here this red color cell body is present. It's a kind of head. It have nucleus, right? It is called cell body and having a cytoplasm. It have some granules in it called Neisel's granule, as discovered by the scientist Neisel. Yes, it is present the branches called dendrites. It help one neuron to connect with the another one. Okay, so we have a long tube-like structure, you can say. It's called axon. That axon carries the message. Actually, the long the axon we have, the larger the size of neuron is, and up to that distance we can transmit message with single neuron. So it's axon. It have that blue color sheet over it, that is called myelin sheath, and that sheath is insulated, means it do not allow electricity to pass through them. So let me tell you one more interesting point here. If this blue color sheath is present, the neurons are called myelinated neuron because it have that myelin sheath over them. if if that neuron do not have myelin sheath, it is called non-myelinated neuron. Okay, what's the function here? As I told you, this myelin sheath is insulator. It do not allow electricity to pass through them. So what happened whenever a message comes, right? So whenever a message comes, it directly comes if that myelin sheath is not present. If myelin sheath is present, that message is not able to flow because it's an electrical impulse. That message is in the form of electricity, right? That is called electric impulse. So whenever that sheath is present, that message jumps like this. Yeah, here you can see the message is a kind of jumping one. And if we cross any area by jumping, we covers more distance in one step. That means where it is required to pass message or electrical impulse in normal speed, these myelin sheaths are not present. But when it is required to transmit our message very rapidly, the myelin sheaths are present in those neurons, because it will not allow the electric impulse to pass through the axon normally. So it will start jumping because of this myelin sheath, and as a result your electric impulse or that message will transmitted at very fast rate. Why it is required? Suppose I want to move my hand, I can send message at a normal speed because it's not required to move it rapidly. But in the case of hot object or pointed object, whenever we touch some surface which is very hot, we rapidly withdraw our hand because we want to prevent our hand or skin from burning. So we need to transmit message very rapidly. Thus myelinated neurons, you can say, are present at those locations where there is requirement of rapid transmission of messages. On the other hand, non-myelinated neurons are present at those locations where a normal speed can work. Okay, so last one is terminal branches. They are also called telodendrite. Telo means at the end, so these are present at the end. Here these branches are over the head or at the tail. At both the locations they are working as a connector, and they help one neuron to connect with the another one. Suppose in a similar way these dendrites are present here, suppose here, so it will form a junction here, right? So this is called synapse. Synaptic complex, you can say, or synapse simply. What is happening here? There is one axon, right, and it have branches over there. So one is connecting with the another one with the help of these dendrite which are present over the head, or telodendrite terminal branches present at the tail region of the neuron. So they help one neuron to connect with the another one and thus transmit the messages from a tip of the toe to the brain, you can say, and process it, take it back to the toe. That now what to do? I hope you are getting the explanation. If still there is any doubt, you can ask me. Please feel free to ask. Now your homework is to complete the back exercise and in-text question in your notebook. Okay, so you are supposed to do all the NCERT back questions in your notebook. If there is any doubt, you can ask me. And along with this, you are supposed to solve each and every in-text question which is present after the end of each and every topic. Okay, if there is any doubt in those questions, you can ask me, and if there is any doubt in the explanatory part, please write the topic, write the doubt and send it to me. Thank you.